3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 1172. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting the subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. And if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome, and thank you very much for your support in helping me reach 300 subscribers at this time, as well as your presence during this reading. So, getting straight into interpreting number 1172. Well, interesting. So, I was going to start with interpreting the number 1 because there are 2 1s in this number. Wow. And I saw 111 about whenever I was ready to start talking about this number, the number 1. And then, whenever I said, wow, I saw 122 and then 123. So, a lot of messages here. The number 1 is about grounding yourself in trust and faith. Whether it's about having trust and faith in yourself, the universe, another person, some other situations, maybe just one of these things or more than one of these things. There is a message here to trust yourself, trust the universe, and have faith in yourself and the universe, and whatever might feel related, you know? The number 122 is about how change starts with you, and being followed by 123, that number is about trusting that everything happens for a reason. So it seems like there is a lot of focus here on having trust and faith in your ability to make a difference. Really. I want you to know that you feel called to make a difference for a reason, to be the change that you wish to see, for a reason. You do matter. Your voice does matter. Your actions, your choices matter. Just how you show up in this world in general matters, because you do have an influence on others, even if they don't tell you that, because of how connected we all really are. You know, when it comes to our thoughts and our emotions and our beliefs, even. Number 7 is about expanding your awareness and your consciousness and becoming wiser, more aware, more awake, and more spiritually in tune, more deeply connected with your faith, your soul, your spirit guides, your God, whatever higher power you believe in, or your gods and goddesses, depending on what your beliefs are. For some reason, I feel called to mention that I have been learning that closer to the beginning, let's just say thousands of years ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, humans started out polytheistic. We believed in multiple gods and goddesses. But at some point came monotheism. Now, that's probably a very general statement. You can't really say that, oh, well, everybody believed in multiple gods, that long ago. I mean, we don't really know much. But yeah, maybe you feel called to explore your own beliefs here. With the number 7. As you become more aware of yourself and your environment, you might be feeling drawn to become more aware of what is beyond this reality. The number 2 can be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation on your mind right now. It can also be a message for you to be very mindful of the decisions that you are making. Make sure you are protecting yourself as well as how you invest yourself. Your time, your energy, your resources, just all of who you are. There may be a decision here that you need to make, or many decisions that you need to make, and I encourage you to take as much time as you can to not rush if you don't have to. Adding up these numbers, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 7 is 9, and 9 plus 2 is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 second. Yeah. We already talked about what the number 2 is about, which is confirmation, extra confirmation now, of a significant relationship or situation on your mind that this reading could be about, as well as being very mindful about your decisions and how you invest yourself. Overall, this number has encouraged you to have trust and faith, a lot of trust and a lot of faith. However that it feels right for you and yourself, the universe, etc. And take an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become more aware, to become more awake. Maybe there could be a spiritual awakening here for you to go through, or that you've already been through. But it feels like there's an opportunity here to really become more deeply connected with your faith, whether it's spiritual or practical, It's very, very clear that you have to, or it's really important, especially within a specific relationship or a specific situation, to be mindful of your decisions. Don't rush, just make sure you're being honest with yourself and you're just giving yourself time to think in the process, so that way you can come to a conclusion or a choice that you actually feel confident in, that you feel really, really aligns with you and maybe even supports you. So I'm feeling connected right now to the idea. Well, I felt connected to the word rigor mortis, and I was thinking about, if you don't know what that is, maybe you want to do some research and see how that could be significant for you. But it is connected to death, like real life death, I think. And so maybe you could have lost somebody, but there's somebody from the other side trying to connect with you right now. But there are a lot of cards on the table in front of you. I wanted to say sul tavolo, which means on the table in Italian. I was speaking Italian to myself while I was setting everything up. So perhaps whoever you lost or whoever is trying to connect with you from the other side is an ancestor or many ancestors, and you don't have to have known them in this life for that to be or to feel true. But as I was saying, there are multiple cards on the table. We have the Magical Dog's Tarot, a box of cards that I made and wrote on myself, as well as index cards over here that I also made and wrote on with things I felt called to. I'm going to box of cards off to the side to start with drawing out just one of these tarot cards. I want to shuffle them real quick. You might be feeling connected to fire or passion. It's making me think of the Ancestor Spirit Oracle deck that I have. On the back of the cards, there's also fire. I'm remembering whenever I was talking about what religion was like thousands of years ago. You know, the polytheism versus monotheism thing. So it really does feel like ancient ancestors, actually. So you definitely didn't know them in this life. But ancient ancestors feel like they could really be wanting to connect with you, to help you connect with your passion and your instincts, it feels like. So let's go ahead and draw out one of these index cards. One of these tarot cards. I have the Nine of Earth, or otherwise known as the Nine of Pentacles, in reverse. Just saw 122 and 123 again, about change starting with you, and trusting that everything happens for a reason. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse tells me that you are feeling very dissatisfied with something in particular. There's something specific that you're really not feeling content about. There could be anxiety or just emotional unrest. Something is definitely robbing you of your peace and distracting you from feeling content in a specific relationship or a specific situation. It feels like you're really not happy about something. Or this could be somebody else. Somebody else is really not feeling happy. They're feeling distracted. Maybe they're anxious. Maybe there's a lot of heavy emotions that are very distracting. Whoever it is, they need to answer the call that is coming from within. And I just saw a sign about trusting that everything happens for a reason with the number 234 on the timer. The number 9 is about purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. And it makes me feel connected to the ancient ancestors, the fire, your instincts. This is very difficult to articulate, but this could be something you're feeling, but unironically, it's very hard to put into words. For me personally, I'm obsessed with history. I'm very curious to see, how humans have evolved in many different ways, just like socially, spiritually, psychologically, maybe that could help fill the gap for you in some way, something significant about history for you. Maybe there's a specific event, historic event that you feel connected to, or there's just a desire here to better understand what really happened over these thousands of years. And I saw another sign with the number 345, to trust everything happens for a reason. I'm thinking about how oftentimes we feel nostalgia for a part of history that we were never even a part of. And I find that very interesting, especially as someone who is obsessed with history, because I too have specific historical events that stand out to me. And I encourage you to look into what stands out to you. Maybe you could focus more on what were things like socially at the time. How were people thinking? What were they believing? How did they perceive themselves and the world around them? as somebody who has been learning a lot of history lately, it's like, when we think of history, we as in who might relate, it feels so textbook. You know, you just have a certain vision of it when you're learning about it. But when you actually look at the artifacts, the paintings, it's just crazy how their world, their reality is just as real as ours, just different. I don't know. Going on this whole tangent about history. I mean, definitely talking about it for a reason, I think. Let me go ahead and draw out one of these cards from this box over here. It feels like whatever is going to come out for the index cards is really just something worth paying attention to. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was somehow a sketch of fire. I don't know. But this card has two sides. I just saw number 555, which is about change, transformation, which aligns really well with what the first side of this card says. It says, how can you use this pain to empower yourself? Whatever is distracting you, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how can you use these feelings, these emotional and intuitive feelings, to better understand the pain that you're feeling, so you can use it, learn how to use it to work for you rather than against you, to make you feel empowered rather than disempowered. I'm being reminded of something that I read. I'm studying the Bible, just out of curiosity. I'm not Christian or anything. But there was a certain excerpt from the Bible about God or your faith helping you maintain your strength. It kind of gave this feeling like with God, you're strong. Without God, you're faint. You're weak. But it's like more about your willpower, you know? Like with God, you feel more empowered. Without God, you don't feel as empowered. Or without, of course, I mean, I feel that all religions have a truth and deception. It's up to us to discern what's real and what isn't. One thing that I do believe in terms of this reference to the Bible is that faith in a higher power really does give you a lot of strength and a lot of courage, because you're not as afraid to suffer or to die. Which honestly, I think the fear of suffering and dying are things that can really, you know, cause a lot of problems. We'll just put it that way. But the other side of this card says you deserve love, with the number 47. 4 plus 7 equals 11. That's interesting. Because when I was thinking about 1,172, I did 1 plus 1, 2, and then plus the 2, that's 4 plus 7. So 4 plus 7 is 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. Again, there's a significant relationship or situation here where, you know, do you do more, do you do less? What do you do to protect your peace? And how you invest yourself in this situation or in this relationship. It sounds like there might need to be some boundaries, or the need to walk away altogether. Because like this 9 of Pentacles card is showing me, you are feeling very dissatisfied. Maybe you're even feeling unloved, and there's just a lot of pain here. So I would definitely take this opportunity to at least heal, to grow, to better understand these feelings, so you can better understand how to move forward, really. Because once you understand how you feel, you know, the decision-making part will become easier, you know. Let's go ahead and draw out this index card, which I did save. It really feels like it's tugging at me for some reason. This card says the storm is coming. very interesting. The idea of a storm for me is about I personally really like thunderstorms in real life, and I think tornadoes are really fascinating. I guess because I kind of see myself in a tornado, just the desire to cause a lot of destruction, but not out of hate. Well, out of love. It's complicated. And maybe you feel that same complicated feeling where you feel like you just love and care so much that it makes you hateful. Like you want to destroy, and there's, wherever this hate is coming from, I don't think hate on its own is inherently a bad thing. I just think it matters what exactly it is that you're hating, You're allowed to feel some negative, heavy feelings that this Knight of Pentacles appears to be showing you are feeling in some relationship or some situation. Wow. For the third time, I saw the number 122 and 123 on the timer. There is absolutely an opportunity here to be the change you wish to see, to recognize that change really does start with you. This opportunity is being presented to you for a reason. I feel like there's something here about all of the frustration, whatever you're feeling coming out, expressing yourself and creating a storm, but not necessarily a bad thing. Overall, this reading has really encouraged you to have trust and faith, to take an opportunity to learn, to become wiser, more awake, and more deeply connected with your faith, especially if it's more of an ancient type of religion. But it's very clear that you gotta be careful moving forward, not in a way where I'm not gonna decide that, but be careful with your decisions. Protect your peace, protect your time, your energy, your resources, and decide if it's time to speak up, whether it's time to walk away. You gotta do something because you're not happy, you're not satisfied, and you're carrying a lot of pain. It seems like, I don't know if I already said it, but you do deserve more. You do deserve more love. Whatever that looks like in this situation for you, and it is okay to create a storm about it. Maybe there is something here about being afraid of taking up too much space, or being misunderstood, or just something holding you back, some sort of fear. And also, remember that this is bigger than you. And you do have, it seems like, a very clear opportunity to be the changes you wish to see. To recognize and embrace the idea that change, positive change, really does start with you, which I think, would make sense if you're afraid of taking up too much space or being annoying or just a burden or something. But if you think about the weather, storms don't wait on anybody. They exist unapologetically. They destroy unapologetically. I'm not saying you should be hurtful or anything, because that's where humans and tornadoes, very different, but you know what I'm saying, hopefully. Maybe connecting with the weather. You just felt connected to the word tempo, which means weather in Italian. Maybe some past loved ones, even ancient past loved ones, could want you to connect more with the weather, with nature, to help you connect more with your instincts, your fire, the human side of you that needs to be heard, not only to survive, but also to thrive, to be happy.